Hello and welcome. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran and you're watching Parliament News on DD India. First up, news from the Lok Sabha. Two BJP MPs from Uttar Pradesh on Wednesday highlighted the achievements of the Modi government at the centre and the Yogi government of Uttar Pradesh. They said 4.5 lakh youths were given jobs and farmers' loans worth rupees 36,000 crore were waived off in the last 5 years. Initiating the debate on the motion of thanks on the President's address, BJP MP Harish Dwivedi also slammed the previous governments at the centre and UP for only providing lip service rather than actually working for the welfare of the poor and backward classes. As assembly elections in UP, Uttarakhand and 3 other states will begin in about a week, Dwivedi spoke mostly about the work and development initiatives being undertaken by the central and state governments in UP and Uttarakhand in the last 5 years. He claimed that 4.5 lakh youths were given jobs in UP in the last 5 years and rupees 36,000 crores worth loans of the farmers were waived off. Dwivedi said rupees 1.52 lakh crore were paid to the sugarcane farmers of UP in the last 5 years. He said the highest number of expressways in the country is being built in UP and the connectivity of both UP and Uttarakhand have improved significantly ever since the Modi government came to power in 2014. The MP said during the COVID pandemic, the Modi government has provided free food grains to 8 crore poor people across the country, while the Yogi government has supplemented the scheme by providing additional assistance to the poor and the marginalized in UP. He also said that 4,600 special trains were run during the lockdown, which transported 66 lakh migrant workers. The Modi government has also provided 165 crore COVID vaccines free of cost to the people of the country, he said. Dwivedi also spoke about a number of flagship schemes being run by the Modi government for providing free LPG and electricity connections, free houses and free health services to the people. He said due to the Modi government's initiative, a grand Ram temple is being built in Ayodhya, while opposition party ruled governments fired upon the car sevaks who had demanded the temple at the site earlier. The MP slammed SP leader Akhilesh Yadav for allegedly comparing Pakistan's founder Muhammad Ali Jinnah with Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and other renowned freedom fighters, keeping in mind the politics of UP. He said the government at the centre and the UP have been working for the all-round development of the poor and marginalized sections of society. He said the Yogi government has been doing a commendable job by improving the law and order, giving uninterrupted power supply, and the poor are getting justice as well. He said because of our work, we, the BJP, will form the government again in UP, unquote. Another BJP MP, Kamlesh Paswan, said the Modi and Yogi governments have been serving the poor and backward classes with sincerity round the clock. He said backward classes were getting honor under the Modi and Yogi governments. The poor and marginalized people are getting the government benefits that include free food grains, LPG connection, electricity connection and free vaccine. Participating in the debate, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said the Modi government has created 2 Indias, one for the rich and the other for the poor, and the gap between the two is growing. He advised Prime Minister Modi to start working towards bringing together the 2 Indias created by his government. He said the Make in India conceived by the Modi government for manufacturing sector cannot happen as unorganized sector has been completely destroyed. He said today earnings of 84% Indians have dwindled, pushing them towards poverty, unquote. Gandhi said the presidential address at joint sitting of Parliament had no mention of unemployment. The presidential address was a list of bureaucratic ideas instead of a strategic vision, he said. The Congress leader said the presidential address at joint sitting of Parliament did not touch upon central challenges facing the country today. The Modi government has made huge mistakes in Jammu and Kashmir and in foreign policy. He said, I quote, "You have allowed China and Pakistan to come together. It was a big disservice to the people of India," unquote. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also described BJP Lok Sabha member Kamlesh Paswan as a good person in the wrong party, But the latter was not amused. He said he could become MP thrice only because of his party. Gandhi said he even learns from opposition leaders and mentioned Paswan's name, who had just spoken before him. After Gandhi concluded his speech, Paswan stood up and said the Congress leader knows him because he is an MP, which he has become only due to his party. He said, and I quote, "Rahul Gandhi told me I am in the wrong party. I want to tell him about his party's policy, which is to divide our community and rule. Today, Rahul Gandhi ji takes my name because I am an MP. I became an MP thrice because of my party." Unquote. Paswan added that the Congress is not capable enough to poach him and make him happy there. Lok Sabha proceedings on Wednesday were smooth with no disruption during question hour. Proceedings of the lower house on Wednesday began with obituary references to former parliamentarians D.N. Patodia and Brijraj Singh Kota, and also noted Kathak dancer Pandit Birju Maharaj. The House also paid obituary references to anti-apartheid icon Archbishop Desmond Tutu and former President of the European Parliament David Sassoli. And now to news from the Rajya Sabha. The highlight of the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday was the start of the debate on a motion of thanks on the President's address. The upper house assumed normal functioning after a long time with full attendance from both sides. Members were, however, seated in the chambers and galleries of both houses to maintain social distancing norms. In his introductory remarks, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu urged MPs to ensure smooth functioning and a productive budget session. He said they should conduct themselves in a manner befitting the trust the citizens still have in India's parliamentary democracy. The country's 5,000 MPs, MLAs and MLCs should resolve in this historic year to return to the people the favor they have been doing by relentlessly nurturing democracy over the last 70 years, Naidu said. He termed the disruption in the House during the last two sessions as highly disturbing. He hoped that members would help productivity during the current session, which is being held at the confluence of the historic 75th year of India's independence and 70 years of electoral journey of a free India. The chairman pointed out that Rajya Sabha had lost 52.1% of the valuable sitting time due to disruptions and forced adjournments in the last winter session. Now, during the preceding monsoon session last year, the loss of functional time of the House was as high as 70.4%. Now, moving the motion of thanks, BJP MP from Uttar Pradesh, Geeta alias Chandraprabha, said, "People are repeatedly giving a clear mandate to the NDA because it's making efforts to bring equality through the welfare of the downtrodden, the exploited and backward classes while ensuring the country's development." She said as many as 27 ministers are from the OBC in the Union Council of Ministers and 20 belong to SC/ST communities, while 11 ministers are women. She highlighted the implementation of various welfare measures in the poll-bound state, where the first phase of voting will be held on the 10th of February. People have given us a clear mandate in 2019 elections on the basis of the work done in the preceding 5 years for the welfare of the downtrodden, exploited and backward classes and for developmental works of the country, she said. The BJP MP stressed that the government is taking several measures for ensuring equality in the society. That includes providing reservation for the economically backward sections and running welfare schemes for the SC, ST and OBC communities. The ruling party MP told the House that under Ayushman Bharat Yojana, about 16 crore families are benefiting. Speaking about the initiatives such as providing health infrastructure and facilities during COVID-19 pandemic, particularly oxygen plants and free vaccination in the entire country, she said 16 medical colleges were built while 14 are under construction in the last 4.5 years in Uttar Pradesh. The BJP MP also pointed to the government's efforts for women empowerment, which includes raising the age for marriage for girls to 21 years from 18 years. Shwad Malik of the BJP attacked the previous Congress-led governments, accusing them of corruption and breaking the back of the common man. He criticized Articles 370 and 35A that accorded special status to Jammu and Kashmir, terming them as quote-unquote blunder. He said, I quote, "For 70 years under your misrule, there were 16,000 ventilators, but through Prime Minister Narendra Modi's efforts, 59,000 ventilators were made available," unquote. On the handling of the pandemic, he also praised the present government's efforts to combat the pandemic by rolling out a successful vaccination program. He observed that the government led by PM Narendra Modi gave a befitting reply to Pakistan-sponsored terrorism by carrying out surgical strikes. Samajwadi Party leader Ram Gopal Yadav on Wednesday refuted Home Minister Amit Shah's statements on the SP's stand on the construction of Ram Temple at Ayodhya. He said the temple will be built faster and better if Akhilesh Yadav becomes the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. The SP leader said his party is not opposed to the construction of the Grand Temple at the birthplace of Lord Ram. Now, taking part in the debate, opposition parties launched a blistering attack on the government. They alleged that it has failed to control price of essential commodities, provide jobs and meet its target of doubling farmers' income. They also accused the centre of transgressing into the rights of the states and impinging on the federal structure of the country, as they opposed the proposed changes in All India Services cadre rules and the decision to extend the jurisdiction of the Border Security Force to 50 kilometers in states bordering Bangladesh and Pakistan. Opposition leader Mallikarjun Kharge charged the government with not delivering on its promises, including generating 2 crore jobs per year. Kharge, who spoke in the presence of PM Narendra Modi, who spent over an hour in the upper house, alleged that the government has failed when it comes to controlling price increase of essential commodities like petroleum products and daily food items. The government was only giving lectures and not delivering on the ground when it came to reforms and welfare measures, he charged. He alleged that there was less work and more publicity by the BJP, and whenever political opponents pointed out their follies, the BJP said the religion is in danger. He pointed out to the lack of employment opportunities because investment is not coming. Where are the good days as promised? He asked. The Congress leader, who spoke for over 1 hour, claimed that while the BJP was dismissive of the various welfare schemes like MNREGA, it was this program that proved to be a boon for migrants during the COVID pandemic. He claimed that many government programs like Make in India have not yielded the desired results. Kharge also hit out at the BJP government over failure of its China policy, Make in India and self-reliance policy, and the state of the economy as well. Kharge said that in 2014 the BJP government had promised 2 crore jobs every year, but many jobs have been lost instead. DMK MP Tiruchi Siva criticized the proposed amendments in the All India Services cadre rules, which give a greater say to the centre. He alleged that this is again transgressing into the rights of the states. He said this is a federal country and no one consulted any of the states. He alleged that, noting that this is not an indication of federalism. TMC MP Sukhendu Shekhar Rai said that government issued a fatwa to make amendment in the rules, which is an arbitrary and a veiled attempt to centralize executive powers of the states, a decision which has been opposed by 9 chief ministers and well over 100 retired IAS and IFS officers. He also opposed the government's move to extend the jurisdiction of the Border Security Force from 15 kilometers to 50 kilometers in the states bordering Bangladesh and Pakistan. He called it a unilateral decision. Early during 0 hour, members asked the government to examine the allegations of irregularities in the railways, non-technical popular categories and level 1 exams leading to violence in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh last month. Fawzia Khan of the NCP raised the issue, alleging that it has exposed the issue of unemployment and a failed education system. She demanded that the overall issue of unemployment, particularly in Bihar, must be looked into. The BJP Sushil Kumar Modi said earlier one exam was announced from Group D, but all of a sudden it was announced that there would be 2 exams. There is no requirement of 2 exams, as Group D exams are not selection of IAS or IPS, he said. The AAP's Sanjay Singh demanded an inquiry into the results declared by the railways. He also demanded that FIRs registered against some protesting students should be withdrawn. Earlier in the day, the House observed silence as a mark of respect on the deaths of Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa in December and David Sassoli, serving President of the European Parliament, earlier this month. Nobel Peace Prize winner Tutu passed away on December 26 at the age of 90. He was awarded the Gandhi Peace Prize in 2005 in recognition of his invaluable contribution to social and political transformation in South Africa and thereby contributing to world peace. That's a wrap on Parliament News. Thanks for watching.